Before we offer our prayers at the lotus feet of Bhagwan, who is a living force here, standing before us with his raised hand in benediction, which says all the time, I'm here, don't fear. We shall go through one or two incidents where how Bhagwan came to the rescue of his devotees at the mere calling of his name. Sadhuji, Sri Rangarajanavaru, he's running Nivedita Academy in Bangalore and also an Indological center. He has had the privilege of spending a lot of time with Bhagwan. Bhagwan chose him particularly for the Ram Nam movement all over the world. He is very active in that, and he also traveled widely, spreading Ram Nam wherever he went. Once he was on a tour and he had gone to Allahabad, Triveni, Prayagraj. And there, when he was having a dip in the Triveni water, where Ganga, Jamuna and Saraswati meet, he had gone to an unfrequented spot there. He was standing on a heap of sand and was having his dip. And suddenly the sand gave in and he went down, carried away by an eddy current. Swirling waters carried him deeper and deeper, and suddenly he realized that he was deep down in the water and there was no way he could come out. And then he prayed mentally, because he could not open his mouth. He prayed, if that is your will, so be it. But let me chant your name. And he began to call out, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, mentally. And Yogi Ramsuratkumar heard it. Just when he was there, under the water, calling out, his children, Sadhu Rangarajan's children, Nivedita and Vivekanandan, they had come down from Chennai to visit Yogi Ramsuratkumar Bhagwan at Sannadhi Street House. Swami was talking to them casually, and suddenly, when Nivedita reported that her father had gone to Allahabad, and he was probably visiting this Triveni Sangam. Just at the mention of that, Bhagwan stood up in a jump. He went inside and then came out with a ball of flowers, stringed flowers. And he dropped it into her hand and said, this beggar is leaving you. Now you people have to move immediately. Go back to Chennai and give these flowers to your mother. Hurry. There was an urgent note in his voice, so these children left immediately with the flowers. And that was the moment when he dropped the flower into Nivedita's hand for her mother, Sadhu Rangarajan's wife. When Sadhu Rangarajan called out Yogi Ramsuratkumar's name. And suddenly he felt some green cloth something green coming over, and then he was pulled outside by two hands. He was pulled into a boat, and then the next minute he found himself on the bank of the river. He heard somebody mentioning that had we delayed 1 minute more, this man would have gone. And when he opened, he could not see those boatmen, the men who saved. And he knew instantly it was his silent calling out, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, who came to his rescue. There's another incident. Michael Siciliano, an American who was at that time student of Mr. Lee. He had not had the darshan of Bhagwan at that time, but he had come to know Yogi Ramsuratkumar through Mr. Lee and was influenced by the vibrant presence of Bhagwan. And at the time he visited Central America, and he was going to have a dip in the ocean, a swim. He wanted to swim across. And then he was just carried away, like nearly 3/4 of a kilometer into the water. There were many coral reefs there. He found himself near one of them. And suddenly he found he was being pulled inside. And he was going deep and deep into the ocean. And there was no way he could come out. And then again, suddenly, the thought of Yogi Ramsuratkumar came to him. He could only mentally chant again because his mouth was full of water already. He remembered Yogi Ramsuratkumar. And then the next minute, he felt he was being lifted and he found himself near the shore. He managed to come. And then those people who were there on the shore, they said that they thought he was gone once for all. Because people who had gone up to that distance into the ocean never returned. That they were all afraid that he was going deeper, and especially that particular coral reef where people had died, never returned. But they were surprised that he returned. He was lifted to the shore. And of course he knew it was Yogi Ramsuratkumar. So in both the incidents we see people who are drowning towards a certain death, at the mere remembering the name, not even calling out, but mere remembering of the name, there was divine intervention and they were saved. Right at the moment, the world is also in somewhat similar situation. We find ourselves. We are afflicted with fear, agitation, confusion, not knowing what to do. There is no way we could come out of this situation by ourselves. So we shall plead with Bhagwan, offer our prayers at his feet. Bhagwan, thou art